Good morning, everyone. When I woke up this morning, I felt like having banana in my oatmeal. So I just tiptoed to my kitchen, as usual, as one does in the morning. And I noticed fruit flies flying around my overly ripe bananas. And that's not a sight that one would want to see early in the morning, and that's not very appetizing either. But I'm here to say that fruit flies are actually amazing. And let me explain. So each of our eye has a single lens in them, and it's called a simple eye. But unlike us, fruit flies have about 800 micro lenses in their eye, as you can see here, and that is called a compound eye. The world actually looks completely different through a compound eye compared to our simple eye. In fact, their vision is really, really poor. For example, if you consider the image that our eyes makes as an image that an iPhone would make, then their eyes would make an image that would be worse than a really, really bad web camera. So you understand how different their world is. But despite them having really poor vision, they can actually do exceptionally well when it comes to visual behaviors such as flight. So they can do some moves better than some military aircrafts, for example, and they definitely got better moves than I do, and you would know that if you ever tried to swat a fly. Right? So how do these flies actually do so well in terms of flight despite having such poor vision compared to our eyes? Right? So in my research, I tried to answer just that using a virtual reality built just for the flies. And when I say virtual reality, this might come to your mind, a person wearing VR goggles and playing a video game on the TV, or even better is when the person thinks that he's actually in the reality and then breaks his TV, so those videos are fun to watch. But the virtual reality for a fly is slightly simpler. It's much simpler than that. And this is one example of a virtual reality that we built for the flies. What you see here is a tiny cube onto which you can project images. And inside that cube sits a fly that is glued to a tiny pin, as you can see there in the middle. I don't know if you can. So what we can do here is we can project different kinds of movies onto this cube, and the fly experiences it as if it is actually happening in front of it. Even though the fly cannot actually fly around, it's free to flap its wings, as you can see there. So we can use that information to understand how the fly actually responds to different visuals that we project for them, right? So, for example, the fly could, if it wants to turn to left, it might move its right wing much more than the left wing. And so that tells us how the fly responds to the visuals that we present. And if you think a virtual reality for flies is cool, wait till you hear about a treadmill for a fly, which some scientists have also done. So what you see here is a very lightweight styrofoam ball that a tethered fly, the fly that is glued to a pin, can actually walk on and move the ball like a treadmill. And we can project visual stimuli in front of it and see how the fly responds to as it walks in response to the visuals. The good thing about this system is that you can actually operate on the skull of the fly and slightly expose some of the brain of the fly. Yes, flies do also have a brain, but they're really, really small. And using that, you can actually put some chemicals in the brain to info which part of the brain is activated when the fly actually responds to different visual stimuli. And so we can understand their visual abilities and what happens in their brain when they're perceiving visual stimuli. And if in case you're wondering, it is very difficult to operate on the flies, and it is tricky even to actually glue them onto a tiny pin. But hey, fly science isn't always easy, but it can be fun though. So my goal is to understand their visual abilities, so that I can understand how that affects their flight ability. So in my research, we have shown that some of these flies actually use certain neural techniques to improve the way they see, so that they can see better than we previously thought these flies could see. And you might be wondering at this point, how does it matter to me what a fly can see or cannot see, right? And that is a valid question. So understanding something like this, understanding how evolution solves complex problems using simpler sensors such as a compound eye that I mentioned before, can actually inspire engineers to build better robots and better computer vision algorithms. And that is definitely important for humanity. And one such example is here. It's a tiny robot that is the size of a 1-cent coin, and it can actually fly remotely. Although I don't think you would see any of these robots flying around outside or over your overly ripe bananas, I do think that these flies have a lot of help for humanity. And let me explain. For example, some flies actually have medical uses. The babies or the maggots of blowflies have actually been used to treat infections in wounds. So basically these fly babies, they release antimicrobial and antiviral juices that have inspired scientists to figure out treatments for infections. And more important than that, at least to me, is that without this fly called chocolate Mitch, there is no chocolate for you, right? And that's not a world that any of us would want to live in, right? And I would like some chocolate in my oatmeal, if not banana, right? So that is because these flies are the major pollinators of cacao flowers, which lead to cacao fruit, and that is what is used to make chocolate. So with all of that, I hope you realize how important flies are in our lives, and and fruit flies and flies in general are indeed amazing. So next time you see them flying around your banana, please appreciate how cool these flies are. Thank you.